What's good, siblings? It's your boy L Franchise. Welcome to the Bros TV. Today we talking Drake UMG and what are his next steps in his career. All right, so we starting with on May 15th, man. You know, Drake dropped the much anticipated Iceman album, and with that, he dropped two other albums, Habibti and Maid of Honour. So one thing, the first thing that I gotta address is the album rollout. Like Drake really, I don't remember, and y'all correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't remember Drake having a rollout like this. Like most of Drake rollouts is like, I don't want to say lazy, but for lack of a better phrase right now, kind of. But it was a lot of effort, and not is that out of necessity or not? It doesn't matter. But the fact and the execution of the rollout, especially that episode 4 of the Iceman, you got like 400,000 people watching this shit live, but what you saw when you were on there, it's like, okay, you got a video for every song. Like it was put together. That Iceman episode 4 was put together. And then at the end of that episode, you announced you got two other albums dropping the same night. That was hard, right? So that's not really normal. For somebody to just put out a level artist at that level to put out a three piece. You know what I'm saying? That's not like a EP or mixtape. But was this passion or was this paperwork, right? All right, let's get to the projects. First, Iceman, of course. Reaction after first listen. First listen kind of was watching the episode 4 of the Iceman series, but first listen on Spotify, I liked it. Thing that stood out, it wasn't really no standout slaps, like hits, as people would say, on first listen. But the amount of shit he was talking, what he was saying and the angles he was coming from, and even some of the reflection in there. And then, got lines in there, I'm almost 40, I'm battling aging. Like, that's what I want to hear. This is what me personally want to hear from the artists that as they get older, bro. Like, let's touch on some real shit. You talking about his daddy, daddy got cancer and shit. That's what I want here. I don't need you running and trying to do the hot new trend young thing, bro. Just talk your shit. You already done enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just age gracefully for me. That's what stood out, that it wasn't any slaps, but the level of rap for Drake style, I like the level of rap. I like the amount of shit he was talking. He always talk clever to shit like that. On Iceman, Habibti, they got a couple joints on there, but I wasn't feeling it like that. And I thought Maid of Honour was trash, my first listen. But I ain't gonna lie, that Maid of Honour kind of grew on me. Because it's like, you gotta listen to, well, I listen to music from a couple different perspectives when I listen. One, objectively, put it on, is it sonically good or not? Sonically, right? Then the next listen, I'm gonna try to listen from the perspective of the artist. What are they trying to get across to the listener? You know what I'm saying? So I could, really give it an unbiased listen. I do wonder if it was just one project, would it have hit harder? But you got three different projects, you know what I'm saying? And you got your rap project with Iceman, your R&B project, what I feel like with Habibti, Maid of Honor. No, both of them kind of R&B, and then one of them kind of more international on the cool. But as always, especially after the battle with him and Kendrick, you're gonna have the split reactions. And bruh, listening and album consumption and got so toxic. And I fell a victim to that with the last J. Cole album. Um, my friends was like, man, that Cole's so raw. And I didn't feel like that. I felt like Cole, rapping wise, elite as always. But the beat selection, I didn't like it, and I rushed to judge the project based on that instead of just kind of sitting with it and listening again and again. But Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a beat selection guy. It don't have to be hit beats or nothing like that. It just got to be nice beats. That you rapping on. Like if I don't like the beats, I can't get back into it. But um, people just they're gonna be split because you got after the battle with Kendrick, you got your Kendrick fans, you got your Drake fans. It's too overly. It's just like I don't understand why people like if I didn't like Drake, I wouldn't listen to him. I'm not gonna listen to Drake to go say how much I don't like Drake. That's just a waste of energy on me. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a weird space in the game where commentary wise, you can't even say if somebody like, man, that Iceman garbage or it's not good. Cool. I like Iceman. Oh man, you must be a Drake fan. You what the internet say glazing. Like what does that even one first, I'm too grown. What does that even mean? Secondly, no, we just I like it, you don't. It's nothing to argue about. I don't know him in real life. It's a weird spot, bro. It's a weird spot. But another thing for Drake, like you got what you said since '09. What is that damn near 17 years? You got a 17-year career that you judged up against too, and it happens like that to everybody. Lil Wayne done had it, Hove done had it. Everybody has this where you held up to your own standard. So, a lot of times, it's been you'll see people Drake, this shit mid. But we kind of got a mid for as what you expected, mid for as a Drake album, mid for as the landscape of music right now, because these motherfuckers don't be making no raw shit. So, you know what I'm saying? You kind of gotta, you just be throwing shit around. But now, was these 3 drops out of necessity, out of love for the fans, or was this a paperwork move? Think about it like this. So we've been seeing reports online after Iceman dropped that, okay, you got the 3 album drop, and that would satisfy his obligation to UMG for the contract musically. Also reports that he has what is a private equity firm, private equity company in negotiations with him with for a $2 billion deal. Sorry. Now, a song on Iceman, Bees on the Table, would lead you to believe that could be true, right? Just the thing about it though. Without seeing his full contract, I don't know that to be true. It makes sense, but I don't know that to be true. But what we do know from court filings is that UMG and Drake were up for renegotiation in 2025, right? So I feel like whether you feel like all 3 projects are mid or not, from a business standpoint, that's a genius move. If he did that drop, and if all 3 of these projects gonna have their individual sound scan code, which they are, and this satisfied his obligation to the label, and he's independent, Drake, what, 39? He still got some run, not as just the hottest guy in the game run, but you got some run where you still can make a lot of money off of music. So to be independent, and if you got a $1 billion deal on the table, that's crazy. That he got a chance to do some shit that really haven't been done like that. I'm a big fan of when artists go against the label, and not just any artist, because the label squash damn near everybody when it gets to this point. But I think I wanted to see the scenario where the right artist could go independent and challenge the whole structure, that whole label structure. Because we in the era where it can happen now, just how freely artists can release music and go direct to consumer in so many different ways. So, because it's a lot of stuff with that label control, bro. Like, man, they got a lot of hellified artists out here, bro. And it's always agendas being pushed. You know, it's always agendas being pushed. You're gonna push certain guys gonna be stay at the top. Certain music is not gonna be pumped. Certain types of music, certain stereotypes are gonna be pushed into the forefront. Certain shit is gonna be the mainstream music. You know what I'm saying? And that's all, based on, the label control and things like that, the industry control. So if you could get somebody to be big enough to go independent and create a new type of way for artists to a new accepted way for artists to continue and to advance, to push the culture forward, I'm all for that type of stuff. I'm all for that type of stuff. I don't think none of these labels have the clearly the pure interest of us, the listeners, the consumers at heart, of really genuinely putting out. They don't give a fuck about putting out good music. That's the bottom line. I mean, I get it. It's a business. I get it. But we can't say they fulfilled the deal for sure. I will provide updates when that's official or not, but we can say the timing is extremely interesting and it will be a smart business move. I know a lot of people were saying how, it's 2 years later from the battle. He's still talking about it. It's like, but we really haven't heard dude talk about it in a solo album format. Like, I don't understand why is that weird? Like, I thought we liked rappers to talk about what they was going through. That's what I like to hear. But it's like, but when in the grand scheme, if dude dropped 40 however many songs, he really ain't talking about Kendrick that much. He dropped 40 songs, y'all. Like, he ain't talking about dude that much. But if you think he's not gonna talk about it, that's crazy. They've been talking about each other since like 2013 on the cool, just subliminals on each other albums and verses and little shots back and forth, like on the low. Anybody who know the game or been following them, they know that. You know what I'm saying? I think so. I think we got to a weird space, bro, to where at the back end of these guys, and I'm talking about the big three era, this era of the guys who've been dominating the game, that it make the back end of they runs, the whole run, like weird. Because now you got fan bases just all, just picking their guy and listening to everybody else with bias or listening either way, right? Good bias or bad bias. And it's like I don't like seeing the people from Kendrick's side talk about Kendrick, and then I don't like this people see from Drake's side talking about how Kendrick couldn't do this. It's like, bro, just listen to the artists for what they are. You know what I'm saying? I happen to be a fan of all the guys. You know what I'm saying? I think they all done their thing in this era, and they put it on their back for us, the mainstream rap guys. You know what I'm saying? Lyrical guys. So it's like it's sad to see the back end of that era is real weird and messy how the back end of this era gonna be. But I mean it is what it is. I also like a good battle, so I wouldn't trade a battle for nothing. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all think though? But about this, where does Drake go from here? You think he'll re-sign with UMG? Does he go independent? Do a distribution deal? Take a break? I don't think dude take a break after this. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like we just saw his break. I feel like we just saw his break. That little 2 year kind of, and he needed to. You couldn't that internet shit, bro. You gotta lay low on that internet shit. You can't fight it like a certain way. You kind of gotta let it do its thing. But the lawsuit is what stretched it out further and made it look crazy for him. You know what I'm saying? That's what stretched the whole thing. And well, the Super Bowl and the lawsuit. That's what made it look crazy for him. So it's like, think about it. The people who be like, oh, he talking about this 2 years later. Bruh, dude talked about me at the Super Bowl. If I'm Drake, just how I'm thinking. Bro talked about me at the Super Bowl. The biggest shit. Bro, if somebody diss me at the Super Bowl, bitch, I'm not, it's up forever. I'm never not talking about you. What are you talking about? So, you know what I'm saying? It go both ways. Like, why in your biggest moment are you? I would have never talked about Drake at the Super Bowl. Man, I'm not saying your name in no Super Bowl. This about me. That's me. But I also understand Kendrick's, crushing them at that point. I understand that too. But just me? boy, you ain't getting no say Drake and no Super Bowl. This about me, bitch. I'm about to do all my rawest shit. I ain't doing no diss track. I'm about to do all my rawest shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I look at it. But I understand why Kendrick did it, and it's funny. You know what I'm saying? But I think we just witnessed a break, and if it's gonna be real interesting to see if he did satisfy this UMG contract, cause bro, that shit gonna change the game. And usually them labels don't let people get this much power. But y'all let me know what y'all think. The Bros TV franchise. Comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more news. Until next time.